Hi, my name is Joshua Herndon. This is a video from the Let's Be Creative series from the Luther Burbank Center for the Arts. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a dragonfly out of metal. And when we get done, it's going to look like this. Now, you can use the method that I'm using to make it out of anything. I'm just making mine out of metal, but you can make it out of, wood or paper or plastic or whatever you have on hand. That's the cool thing about art, is it's all about, your imagination and what you can make things out of. I had a friend who went to Jamaica, and there's these guys there. I mean, I guess anybody could do it, but there were these guys there. They were making little metal art out of Coke cans and selling them on the beach. And I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, that's the cool thing about art. You can make it out of anything. I'm going to show you that today. And I'm going to start with the method of how I, started to design the dragonfly. Okay, so the first thing I did was decide what I wanted to make. And then I went to the internet to find a reference picture so that I could have something to look at to know what, the thing that I'm trying to make is supposed to look like. So what I did was go to the internet and type dragonfly. Then I went to images, and then I find a good picture of a dragonfly that shows me like the whole body, not just like a side, like something like this, where you can see the whole like body and wings and everything. And then I printed that picture out, and then I used the pattern of the wings to make them out of metal. Then next I went to the hardware store to pick out my pieces. So I needed something, long and thin, like the dragonfly body in the picture. So I picked up a long bolt. I think this is a 1/2-inch bolt. Then I wanted something to make the body with, so I picked up a 5/8 bolt. And then I got this, I think it's 1 inch, or maybe it's 3/4 nut. Oh wait, that's a 5/8 nut, not a 5/8 bolt. To make the head with. See how the head is a bigger bolt, and it has 2 lug nuts for the eyes, and this back part is also a lug nut. And so I picked out my pieces that I wanted to use to make the dragonfly body. Yeah, I'll show you guys what the welding process looks like, and and I still have to make the wings, and I'll show you what that looks like. And yeah, stay tuned. Right, and so after that, I took my reference picture and I cut the wings out, and I used those wings as like a stencil or a template to make this. So this is made out of metal, and it's my permanent template. Now I'll trace that out again a couple times on this piece to get the amount of wings that I'm looking for, because see, this guy has 4 wings. Now, what I use to do this is sheet metal shears. They're basically like metal scissors. So now I'm going to cut the wings out. And it's very important when you're doing this to wear gloves, because metal is very sharp and you want to protect yourself. And wear eye protection as well. The last thing you want is a piece of metal in your eye. That's no fun. All right, now we've got all of these cut out. So now we're going to take a grinder and we're going to grind all the marker away. And then that's the size of the wing that we want. All right, I got the wings all ground down to the shape that I want them. And I almost forgot. We need to make some legs. I got some of this little rod and I bent it into the shape of a dragonfly's leg. And I used reference pictures for all of this. So I looked at for a picture of a dragonfly from the top so I could see the wings. Then you look at a picture from the side to see the legs and the rest of the body. And this is just for dragonflies. You can do it with anything and you can make it out of anything. Like I could make this same thing out of cardboard or paper or you know, clay or whatever your medium that you're working with. All of the research and the development of it is the same. You're just using a different material. Let's see, the legs are much easier than the wings. I made one in like 10 seconds. So I make 6 of those and then we'll put it together. Okay, now I have 6 legs. Now we can put the dragonfly together. I'm going to hold the pieces where I want with my shield and my gloves, you know, safety first, and then I'll tack it into place. Tacking in welding is just a little tiny weld so that you can make sure you got it straight and you can look at it. And it's not super solid, and you can break that weld if you want to. So you do a small weld first just to make sure you got everything where you want it. Then you can weld it more to make sure it stays in place. I'm gonna do the eyes. So what I did was I took some of the lug nuts and I ground one side of it off so that it'll fit inside of this bigger nut and then become an eyeball. All right, now that I've got the eyes in, I can start putting the wings on. So I'll take the other one and look at it, like put it in front of it, look at it as a template to know where I want to put my wings. All right, so now I have all my wings tacked on there. And that's a pretty good place. I'm gonna go back and weld them solid. All right, now that I've got my wings welded solid, I'm gonna put the legs on. All right, I have all my legs tacked in place. All right, starting to look like a dragonfly. So what I do now is they're pretty much in the right place, so I'm gonna weld them solid, then I bend them until they sit flat, like I did this one. All right, now that I've got my dragonfly to sit how I want, pretty level, I'm gonna take the grinder and grind the tail to a point, like this one, and then I'm gonna add the little tail piece on, and that'll be the last step. Okay, now that I have the tail all ground down and I made the little tail piece, I'm going to attach it. And all I did was take one of my scraps and I cut like a V shape, and then I just ground the sharp edges off and I bent it a little bit to give it some, you know, some shape. And then I just welded onto the end, and then we're done. So to finish off this project, I'm going to take a grinder and grind all the welds down till they're smoother than they are. Then I'll brush it with a wire brush to get all the soot off from welding. Then I'll put a clear coat on and it'll be finished. So I'm still going to wear my gloves because this is still hot. So you take your brush and try your best to get all of the soot and the corrosion off of your piece before you cover it in clear coat. And see, now that looks a whole lot better. I got my welds ground off and down, and then I cleaned up the soot with a brush. Now I'm going to hang it up and spray some clear coat on it so that it won't rust and it'll stay looking, you know, great for a long time. So it's a good practice whenever you're going to paint something like this to clean it first with acetone. So you put acetone on a piece of cloth, then you wipe down your surfaces that you're going to paint to get any oil or you know, contaminants off of it. Even the oil from your fingers can make paint not stick as well. Well, now that that's clean, we can shake up our paint. I just got some clear matte enamel, and you can go for whatever look you want. I just like the flat look. But you can get gloss, whichever you like. And then we just spray it on. So we've got one coat on there. I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes and then I'll add a second coat. And then when I take it off, I'll paint the tail last because, you know, no paint can get here where it's hanging. So I'll paint that part last and then the whole thing will be covered. All right, we'll wait for that to dry. Then I'll hit the tail and we'll be done. Well, we did it. We made a dragonfly. And like I was saying before, no matter what you decide to make your project out of, it doesn't have to be a dragonfly. It could be a horse or an emu or a life-size model of Saturn. It's going to take a long time to make that one. Whatever you choose to make your project out of, you know, wood or clay or whatever, the theory is the same. Like measuring things, using templates, test fitting pieces, all of that is the same. You're just using it to make a different shape or a different project or a different whatever. And you know, art is an awesome privilege that we get to partake in, and it should be fun. So those are my words of wisdom. Have fun with it. Don't try to get everything super perfect. Like, this isn't super perfect. See, there's imperfections, but I don't think that, you know, perfection doesn't exist in the real world. Like, you know, you look at a tree, and if you try to draw a picture of a tree and you try to make it too perfect, it looks weird. And I think imperfection is something that makes art what it is. You know, it's the eye of the beholder. You know, some people can look at one picture and think, I don't like that. And other people will look at it and think it's the best thing in the world. I think that you should just try your best and have fun, and try not to get too caught up in the details. That's all for this video. Tune in the next month, the second Tuesday of next month, for another Let's Be Creative video. And until then, keep being awesome. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.